Welcome to another show of Outside in Your Garden. I'm Michael.
And I'm Gigi.
And where are we today, Gigi?
So today we are at Bernie Gordon's house.
Yes.
And he has a lot of bonsais. And it's really important that people know, like Outside in Your Garden is our show, but bonsais belong outside in your garden.
Yeah, most times I thought they live inside, but apparently Bernie keeps these outside.
Well, yeah,
so.
but you know, you get a gift of a bonsai and you put it in your house and it dies.
Right.
And that's why. So let's find out more about bonsais.
Yeah, so let's go meet Bernie and let's learn what he does with bonsais. Okay, Bernie, thank you for inviting us to your garden and having us look at your bonsai. What have you got here?
This is a ficus.
Yeah.
A ficus is a tropical tree.
Right.
So when a tropical tree can be inside all year round because it's from a warmer climate. And when you put it in a pot, it's usually in a glazed pot.
Yeah.
Because a glazed pot will keep the heat. Whereas in a conifer or trees that are growing around here, you're in an unglazed pot, so it keeps the soil cooler in the summer. So this ficus, you can just cut off all the leaves like once or twice a year and it'll grow back. And so the idea is to get it more leaves than before.
Does that help it to cut it back?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
So can I just say, because you told us bonsai means a plant in a pot.
A tree in a pot, yes.
A tree in a pot.
Okay. A tree in a pot.
Yeah.
And that's what bonsai is. It's just putting a tree in a pot. For example, I bought a Japanese maple and put it in the pot. And it's now a bonsai.
Now a bonsai.
Yep.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the techniques of bonsai and how to keep them doing well?
Okay. First of all, you need tools.
Yeah.
And there are various tools that are used for bonsai. One is you need your scissors to cut your branches.
Right.
And I'm going to cut back this a little bit.
So you're cutting at a
just above
what do you call it? The
node,
right?
The nodes or the buds,
right.
Like you would on outside. Right.
And then you have a concave cutter, which will cut branches sharply, so it's a sharp cut.
Yeah.
So it's on an angle rather than straight.
Then you have knob cutters that you want. Let's say you're going to into a branch and you want to have a smooth cut.
Okay.
Right
up against the trunk or something.
And then you have a root cutter if you're going to cut.
Yeah.
You're going to cut the roots.
Yeah. The idea is to restrict the roots a little bit, right? That's why the pots are small.
You do have to repot it and make sure that the roots don't overgrow in the pot, because then you get root rot. Right. So every couple of years, or depending upon the soil, you have to repot your tree.
And is there a way to tell that it needs repotting?
Well, sometimes you can tell by whether now bonsai soil is normally artificial.
Right.
Around the tree, you're going to have regular soil because you don't want to bare root it, because that can cause too much stress. But if you go here and you can't, and it doesn't go in, it's broken down, and you really should repot. And I would say that depends on the tree, but every 2 to 5 years, you're going to want to repot it.
And bonsai is also the art form, isn't it? In terms of getting the shape that you want. Why don't you talk a little bit about how you get the shape?
There's several different shapes in bonsai, or different styles. If you look at a tree, a normal tree like that conifer over there, it's always going to go this way. It's never going to go this way, right? So your tree is going to be narrower at the top, fuller at the bottom normally, depending upon the shape and style of the tree, right? So this one is being shaped this way. Now, for this one, you want to choose what your front's going to be.
Okay.
So normally, you don't want to have a tree coming at you, right? It doesn't, the feel of the tree is not.
So this is
friendly.
coming towards you.
Right.
And
so there's the design to this, obviously.
The design, and when you put the tree in the pot, what you want your front to be, and what the angle is going to be. For instance, let's say you don't like this and you want to repot it and change the angle.
Right.
You could take one of these and go, well, let me see. Let's see what would it look like if it was to the side.
I see.
To the side.
Yeah.
Wow.
That changes the whole thing, doesn't it, Gigi?
Yeah. Right.
You can decide before you repot it what you want to, what angle you want to put it in. Right? So that's what these are for.
Okay.
You often see bonsais with angled trunks, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there is this is what they call straight up is called a literati.
Literati, okay.
You know, since this is straight and it's got curves in it,
Yeah.
someone will call it's a feminine style, right?
Okay.
This one is windswept. It's supposed to look like it's the wind.
Yes,
hit it.
has been blowing
Now,
it.
you may say, okay, I don't like that, so I'm gonna next time I pot, I'm gonna pot, make it
A little bit
more
less. Yeah.
No. Let's leave it. I like it.
I like it windswept too.
Windswept. That's.
And
So
then
you have
there's the
your
more fine art of actually curving the branches, isn't there, in order
Well,
to get it to
for instance,
go where you want it to go?
I like this as the front,
Yes.
right? But there's this. You can see there's a gap right here. There's
Yeah.
nothing there. So let's see if we move this branch this way
Okay.
to make it. So what we'll do is
So you use wire to move
Right.
to wire the branches, don't you? And-
right on a tropical tree. You
Right.
use aluminum wire
Okay.
because if you don't unwire it and it grows, it'll scar the branch as the branch
Okay.
gets bigger.
Yeah.
These will not heal.
Okay.
You use copper on a conifer or a northern tree. If it grows in, you can take it off and then it'll heal itself.
Yes.
So you got to be careful with the tropical.
And then I also understand that the gauge of wire, depending on the size of the branch.
Yes,
Is
for
that right?
instance, a common thing to do,
Yeah.
what I do anyway, is I'll take the wire, and there's all different sizes.
Yes.
And if I can do that, make it
And
without bending the wire, then I'll use that.
then that's the right size.
Then I'll use
So the
that.
branch
thing.
has to move, but the wire has to stay still. Is that what you're
Right,
saying?
yeah.
Otherwise, the wire would be too
But
too
as you
small.
do,
Yes.
yes, you do it, you'll say, okay, the thickness of that branch, I think I'm going to use, a 10, 12, 14 gauge.
Right.
There's a
wire.
real science to this, isn't there?
It's yes, and I don't know much of it. So.
Are you kidding? Look at how
So
beautiful the things
this-
you have here.
This is a wire cutter, which is one of your
Tools.
basic
Essential tools.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's just say I took that. Now, when you wire, you want to anchor it, right? So
Okay.
you just can't wire the branch. You got
Right.
to anchor it. So
So
let's
you're
say-
going to anchor it off one of the larger branches.
right. So
Yes.
let's say I anchored it here.
Okay.
So you're winding it around the bigger
Winding around
branch.
the branch.
Right. Okay, and then
And then, let's see. And I want to come over here to this branch. Now,
Yeah, the
since
one you want-
since I want to come down,
Right.
I want to come over it first.
Yes. To pull it down.
Pull
right.
it down. So
Yep.
then you just wire
And then you
it.
just start twisting the wire around
Around
the
the
branch. And at this
Wow.
point, you're just twisting. You're not placing the
Right.
branch where you want
So-
it. That
Some
comes-
some people, depending upon the branch and how close what you want to do it, and you can just keep wiring it until
till you got to where you want to go.
see where you want to go.
Yeah.
So it's probably as good as.
so that wire will pull that branch down.
Well, we're going to move it around to where we want it.
Okay.
So
So you're just clipping off the ends, make it neat.
so now I say, well, I want to cover this area here somewhere.
Okay. So why don't we turn it to the front so the audience can see, and then you can show how you want to pull it down.
I gotta see.
Yeah.
You got to see it. Okay. Yeah.
So I have this space here that I want to cover.
Right.
So I'm going to move this branch here,
Wow.
here, and here. So it has more of a full.
Right.
And will the wire stay on forever, or eventually
No,
that?
you have to take them off. If these start to bite into the branch, you'll
Right.
scar it.
But but nature will take over and turn it that way for good.
Yes, and if it doesn't, you put the wire on again the next year.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And keep.
All right. So Bernie, this one is really wired a lot.
Yes,
And
this is what a good wiring tree would look like.
and what kind of tree is this?
This is a white pine.
Okay.
And you'll notice one of the styles of a tree is your main branches.
Yes.
And you want to have sort of alternating branches. You want
Okay.
to have all branches on one side of the tree.
Right.
Now, a branch will die,
But you keep it.
but you keep it because you go into nature, you'll see branches. No one goes around cutting off dead
No.
branches.
Right.
Right.
They're called in Japanese jins.
Gins. Okay.
So you keep it.
Like
So
devils? Is that the right
Well,
connection?
so I have, you can shape your gins,
Yeah.
and there's several here. And this one, this branch, because we lost this bottom branch, bringing down another branch to fill the void.
Right.
So this is a style of doing it.
Just
You see,
holding it in place.
they see on TV, there's a wire that comes down to the gin
Right.
and is pulling this one down.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but all of these are shaped. This one's got a U shape on
You'll
it.
notice this is the shape I was talking about. It gets wider at the bottom,
Right.
narrow at the top.
Right.
But you wanted to, is there any that you cut off here to get this shape, this interesting
No,
shape?
these basically the branches came off on their own as the tree grew.
Okay,
You want to do is, one of the things is that you want to create a canopy,
okay.
which is a very important styling point. So this is, now these, if these weren't wired, these branches would go all stretched.
Right, out.
So
But they would go up, wouldn't they?
Or just to the side.
Just
Okay.
yeah.
And it'll be flat, something like this. So but you want to have a rounded canopy.
Okay.
And that's what this is, the wiring is trying to do.
Can you talk a little bit about the soil?
Sure. What I use is what they call 3 parts. One part is akadama, which is from Japan. It's like a clay.
Is it
Okay.
hard?
That brown one?
Yeah.
It's like
And
a,
that'll break down.
you meaning it'll
Become
powder,
dust.
like
Yeah.
a powder? Okay,
So that's one of the things you're checking. That's,
okay.
and this is pumice,
Oh,
Okay.
and this is lava. Now, one of the things for these is that when they get wet, the roots will go in. We'll be able to
Move through the spaces.
yeah. But you also said you use regular soil around the trunk.
Well, it comes with the soil. You know, you pick it up. You don't remove all the soil
Oh,
because that will cause stress and could kill the tree.
Yeah.
okay.
So there's soil around all these trees. The
I got it.
bonsai soil is to the sides, basically.
Wow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you mix those together. I usually use 2 parts of the akadama, 1 part of the lava, and the pumice. You
Okay.
mix it up.
And there you
Put
go.
your tree in. You decide on the location, the front, the angle. We have to put a mesh at the bottom.
Okay.
You have to put some bonsai soil at the side.
Right.
You have to put wires in because when you put it in the pot, the most important thing you're doing is this can't move.
Oh. Okay.
So there's several ways of securing into the pot. One is you have wires coming out and
Right.
they come over the
roots.
trunk.
Yep.
It's called the nubari.
And then it comes off, and then you've taken that
And then
off.
you cut it. You
All right.
secure it.
Right.
Another way is to put, let's say, some chopsticks and into the tree, the bottom of the tree, and then put wire around that.
Yeah.
And so you don't see wire on top,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
So that's another way of doing it.
And so finally, is there something special about the pots?
Well, the pots are personal
art?
taste. It's an art in and of itself.
Right. But they're never tall. They're always short.
No,
No?
depending on the size of the tree.
Okay.
But you know that Japanese maple is it's pretty tall.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well,
Often ones. you
and then
see
it's
are more-
artistic. I
yes.
mean, you can buy basically beginner pots, plastic pots, just for training. But then once you get into the pots, that's a whole other.
that's another whole thing.
Whole other
Well, I think this was fabulous.
It was, wasn't
we're
it,
just a
Gigi?
little bit enough to learn
little
about
taste of doing some bonsai
and to see
how
his
to shape them.
beautiful bonsais.
Right. We can have a look
Yeah,
at some of the
I
different
mean,
ones. That
We're going to take some pictures
Take
of
take some
them.
pictures. Yep.
A
Yeah.
friend of mine just cut his privets,
He just cut his what?
the privet bush.
Wow,
Yep.
look at that.
And
The
you-
privet hedge.
He made it into a bonsai.
How do you
I
like-
like these because of the trunk.
Yeah.
The trunks are very interesting.
That's a lovely one. Yeah.
So you can do that. You can, make your own.
I'm going to run right home now
Try it.
and
But
call
one of the
you.
things you said is that for these have to be outside in the winter.
Okay.
These stay inside.
Okay. But they don't. They come out in the summer.
This stays out all because it drops its leaves. It's
Right.
a
Okay.
northern, but your ficus stays inside all year. You can put it outside if the temperature stays above 60 at night.
Okay.
Because once it gets below, then it can kill the tree.
A lot to learn.
Bernie, thank you so much.
You're
that
very
was really
welcome.
informative, wasn't it?
It was
Gigi?
amazing. It's
Yeah.
great. I'm very happy we did this. Thank you so much for watching.